Now then, Ross, I think this is going to be interesting. This is, again, a real kind of slice of history, a distillery that I think any opportunity you get to try something from a closed distillery, you always need to jump
100%.
at. So this is a bottle of Coleburn, which closed kind of mid-1980s alongside the likes of Brora and Port Ellen and all these guys. In terms of a liquid style, what's been your experience with?
So I've really not had much Coleburn, as most people haven't. But I've had some of the stuff that John McPhail have bottled in the past. My understanding was it was quite an experimental distillery for Diageo. Okay. Obviously, the 80s were a really tough time. Yeah. So this closed in 85. It's never come back. But I've really enjoyed what I've had so far. Okay. Sometimes it's been really, really fruity and approachable. Sometimes it's been really mineral and kind of fresh. This is one of 300 bottles from 1969, which is really cool.
Yeah, so it's a 1969 vintage, so distilled obviously 69 and bottled by Samaroli in 1981 as part of known as the Flowers series, but I think on the label it says the Never Bottled Top Quality Whiskey series. Yeah. Which is catchy for sure, but Flowers is maybe a little bit easier to
I think
express.
It almost makes it more exciting knowing that Samaroli's bottled it, because we know some of the liquid they've bottled in the past. But bottling this in 81, they probably didn't see that it was going to close, so they couldn't have. Yeah. So it's one of those things that might be quite ordinary at this point, whereas people are really into kind of fetishizing new bottlings of closed distilleries. Yeah. Some people are crazy about it. You know, all of a sudden a distillery closes, a lot of whiskey people are like, oh, that was the best whiskey ever. It's closed for a reason, a lot of the time. Yeah. This, I think, was more of a restructuring from Diageo. Okay. This is really, this is before they closed Rosebank, but they really were kind of working out what they were going to do with the portfolio, leaving, I think they've got 29 malt distilleries now, which is still massive. Yep. But they lost a lot of their distilleries, kind of to Dewar's. They almost had too much of the market at one point. So I'm looking forward to trying this. One of 300 bottles from 1969 from a closed distillery, it cannot possibly live up to... No,
I think it's a real treat as well, because this Flowers series was Samaroli's first sort of solo thing. So first solo series that he bottled. All the label designs were sort of illustrations that Silvano did himself. And it's, obviously since then he's built this incredible reputation, bottled some stunning whiskies. So, a real collector's item, sort of whiskey where, you scan it on the Bevvy app, comes up as being worth, £2,000-3,000.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a real collectible.
It's an odd thing for us to be opening it now, but at the same time, this being bottled in 81, it was meant to be, consumed. How it's made it to us in 2024, we've got to be quite lucky, I suppose. Yeah,
I think on that note is reassuring as well. Obviously, bottles, depending how they're stored. Yeah. The fill level can drop.
This is great.
Fill level's almost a bit worryingly too good, actually. I'm starting to panic. This has been refilled and hopefully not. That'd make a good video, I suppose.
Compared to the other Samaroli bottlings we've seen, this looks to be in remarkable condition. Yeah. We like the screw caps as well because we have so many of these old corks fail on us. So let's crack it open.
Yeah, I think the liquid itself should be in perfect condition. Yeah. As we said, when the fill level drops to kind of mid-shoulder, you start to worry about it being a bit oxidised and a bit flat, but this should taste exactly the same today as it did when it's bottled by Samaroli.
A fairly short-lived history. We were founded in 1897, which was quite 1887, 1898. There was a lot of distilleries that opened then that we now know of today. It doesn't look like it's coming back. I believe the kind of site's now used for warehousing for independent bottlers.
Yeah, it's definitely not as fetishised in the same way as Brora and Port Ellen.
And the reality... Oh my God. Okay, so...
Screw cap, not as good as we thought.
Not as good as we thought. I think for people that don't know Coleburn at all, the reality was it was mostly used for Johnny Walker.
Yeah, it was red as a component of Red Label, I think.
So, there you go. And so we've done a video previously about blends and we didn't love the Red Label. But this is back in time. It's a different time. There was definitely a higher malt concentration in the blends back then as well. What did you get on the nose?
It smells gross. It's really unpleasant.
It is...
What is that smell?
It's a little sour.
It smells like cat pee. But you've not noticed until you've got up the next morning. You're like, oh, what does that smell?
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. There's a bit of... Definitely
it's really grim.
A bit of citrus.
Maybe it has been refilled with something unspeakable.
Bottled at 46%, so we'll be able to tell if it's...
just feel like it's really like almost like a rancid cheesiness to it.
It does have a kind of slight wet cardboard to it. You just think it's wet with cat piss, whereas I think I actually don't dislike the nose. There's subtle sweetness in there as well. It is a sweet and sour nose.
Is it kind of mineralic? Is that maybe what I'm picking up?
Let's have a little taste, see what you think.
Do we have to?
I'm looking forward to this.
Okay. You can have mine.
Oh.
Definitely tastes better than it smells.
Yeah,
which
it does.
For me isn't saying much.
It doesn't taste like it doesn't taste like an awful lot. It tastes like whiskey.
Yeah.
It is malty.
Yeah, as we say. I think definitely fairly. I mean, it's 12 years old.
It tastes 12 years old. Yeah, it's not. It's a cool old vintage to open, but there isn't a lot of complexity to the spirit. And the nose is growing on me. I think it's not.
Yeah. It's just that first sniff was really put me off. I think knowing that it tastes fine for me has made the nose a bit more approachable. I think it's not particularly remarkable. I don't think the cask has had a huge influence other than it kind of rounding it out with age. It's not added, sweet bourbon flavours. I wouldn't assume it's European oak. I just feel like it's quite maybe like a third fill cask.
Yeah, I think we've tried a lot of nondescript blended whiskies, nondescript young malt whiskies that all have this very similar character.
Yeah.
Again, early 80s, bottled for Italy. It kind of fits into what we're expecting. They were bottling a lot of very safe Highland and Speyside whiskey for a hotter climate, for that kind of palate. But it's not incredibly flavourful. It's a nice tasting whiskey. It doesn't taste very old because it's not very old.
No, I think this, if I had the choice of this or, like a Glengrant 5-year-old, which was obviously very popular in Italy at that time, I think Glengrant, the youthfulness adds a nice
might actually have a bit
pleasant characteristic to it.
I think considering, you're spending at least 1,000 to 1,500 quid on this bottle.
Yeah.
It's a shame. It's a real shame. It's a fun whiskey to say that we've tried. It is liquid history. We have gone back in time. We'll never have Coleburn come back.
Nope.
But thank God for that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a bit harsh.
Samaroli's passed away as well, so I think chances of this being recreated.
He's not going to be annoyed by it.
Very slim.
It is a very easygoing, sweet and sour nose, malty, stereotypical, non-exciting whiskey palate.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just struggling to think if somebody said, "Do you want a dram of this or something else?"
Monkey shoulder.
The something else would have to be.
It tastes quite similar.
Would have to be pretty poor to be like, actually, I'll go for the Coleburn.
Yeah, I think a modern day Arran 10 or a Glenfiddich 12 has more going on than this.
Yeah, and just kind of more well-rounded. I think, obviously, whiskey is very subjective. I think, as you say, opening whiskies of this value that are, collectibles, almost antiques these days, is a real treat and is a great thing to do if you can. I think for those watching at home who've maybe spent money on a whiskey we thought was going to be incredible and been really disappointed, it'd be great to hear some more examples. But for me, this is pretty.
For the other 299 people who may or may not have this bottle, definitely not, because it'll be most of it will be drank. We advise that you keep it for your keep it and pass it on.
Punt it into auction and get it sold. Right. So not for me, but good fun to try.
Fun to try. Cheers.
If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Bevvy content. We want to hear what you think, your best whiskey experiences, the whiskies you want us to try. It's a really exciting journey we're on, so make sure to join us. Download the Bevvy app on Google Play and App Store to keep track of your whiskey journey, connect with your whiskey friends, keep track of your favourites, anything you could ever want to do with whiskey, all in one place. It's the definitive whiskey companion.